music in that house.
Of course. What do you think this is? I'm from Oakland. Of course we got that kind of music.
It slaps too.
It do.
I like this.
All right, everybody, whatever you're doing, wherever you're at, thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning into the podcast today. I'm your host, Jay. Whether you're outside grilling, maybe you're mowing the lawn, or maybe you're changing dirty diapers, or maybe you finally got a moment to kick back, relax, kick your feet up, and listen to your favorite podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Again, welcome to the Young Dad Podcast.
Boom.
I'm super excited to have this conversation today. Adult discretion is advised. This may not be an episode for everybody. We're going to dive into some topics today with cannabis, with sex, with adult content. And you may, if you're watching the video on Spotify or YouTube, then you may see Miss Kai over here lighting it up, and that's all right. Everything's friendly here. So if that's not your thing, if you're not into that, go ahead and move on to the next one. Or go back a couple and go watch a couple other episodes, and that's on you. But ladies, welcome to the podcast. Super excited to have you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up, Jay? What's up, Young Dad Podcast?
Yes, indeed.
What up?
I'm excited to have y'all in the motherfucking building.
I'm excited to have y'all here. So that opening beat, just a couple things before we get into it here. That opening beat is brought to us by the Podbeat app. Podbeat's a proud friend of the podcast. They're awesome. That was their trip hop beat. So they have a ton more beats on the Podbeat app. You can download the Podbeat app for free. Absolutely love Podbeat. They're fantastic. Additionally, want to shout out myself and our Patreon page. You can now become a patron for just $1 a month. Maybe $2 if you like. Nice. So super easy way to support the podcast there. So enough of that. So today we have a conversation with the team behind Motherhood, Sex, and Marijuana podcast, a unique platform and community space where pop moms and cannabis enthusiasts come together to discuss life, share experience, and build connections. So we're going to be diving into their journeys as parents, their perspectives on cannabis, and the mission behind their platform. So let's get into it. So the first question I love to ask everybody relates to their platform. What is a hill that you're willing to die on when it comes to motherhood, sex, or marijuana?
Okay. What is a hill I'm willing to... I would say motherhood, definitely. Motherhood, because, you play with the children. If you play with the children that I am raising. Matter of fact, I have a child that is grown and lives her own life, but even if you mess with her, it's not going to be safe
untouchable.
For you. It's not going to be safe for you. So I would say motherhood. Out of all of the three subjects, yes, we represent all three, but best believe you mess with my children. Oh, child. You're not going to be safe. Go ahead, Rue. What's your answer to that question?
I would say the same. I never felt so, I would say, what's the word? I've never felt so cozy in a position before. It is my favorite job. It is a job. And it's just like I'm just a continual student, you know what I mean, in it. And I think that when it comes to this parenting game, no one knows what the hell they're doing. And if they say they are, they're just trying to make money off of you and sell you some products, or they just lying. So I think that if you really have a part to play in the nurturing aspect of another individual, dogs are wonderful. What's up, dog? That's not even my dog. He's just cute. But dogs are cool. Animals are cool. But raising a human comes with a lot of, let's just say, a lot of trial and error, a lot of holding creating space regardless of your trauma and your past experiences and your hate and your anger. And then it's probably just the most important thing that somebody would do. Now, it's not for everybody. And I think that many people reproduce people and they're not parents, and that's okay. Well, it's not okay to me, but it happens, right? So I would definitely echo what my bestie said in that, and that's my answer.
Love that. And it's true, because it's the most important job. And Rube, I love what you said there. If someone's trying to tell you they're an expert or that they know what they're doing and they got it all together, they don't. They have maybe a piece of the puzzle, right? Like, we all have different pieces of the puzzle that we know maybe better than others, but I wouldn't say anyone's an expert at all the things. right? No one's an expert at all the things. You may have a really good insight on this one specific thing, maybe 2, maybe 3, but
or
outside of
your
that, then
perspective of what that one thing is. And there's all different perspectives, because what is going to work for me may not work for Kai, may not work for Jay, and that's okay.
And we have discussed that in our podcast, honestly, because one of the main things that we have talked about on Motherhood, Sex, and Marijuana throughout all of our seasons is that my parenting is different than Rue's parenting, but we still, we agree to disagree with certain things, and we'll joke about it on our podcast, because certain times Ruby will talk, stories about her kids, and I'll be looking at her like, you let that happen, so you know what I mean? Whereas, so and then I'm pretty sure there's situations where I've told her, how I discipline, and she'd be like, yeah, girl, I wouldn't do that. But you know what I'm saying? But still, we still cohesive with the concept that you know what I mean, we are great mothers, and there's no storybook to it, but but you basically, making it up as you go along.
Yeah, there's no one size fits all, right? There's no one size fits all. Like, some things, I think you're right there 100%. Like perspective. What works for me may not work for you. What works for this so-called expert, quote unquote, it works really well for them, and they've been able to teach other parents, and maybe it's worked really well for them. But I'm sure that there's a good amount of those people that they tried to work with and teach it to that it just didn't work for them, kind of thing. So different things work for different people.
Well, Jay and Kai, I think that there's a component there that we have to really highlight, which is what's best for the child. So everyone's wired differently. So it's not like, oh, I want to parent this way, I want to parent that way. It's like, well, what does the kid need? And why are we starting there? And so I think that's the main element of what we just shared right here, is the focus on the child.
And every kid's different what they need. And it's our job as parents, and then in my field, I work in mental health, so it's my job to meet my clients, meet my youth and family exactly where they're at.
Absolutely.
And that's a big life lesson for across all things. Working with colleagues and coworkers, and no matter the line of work, and with podcasting, with guests and things like that. Like, it applies to every part of life. Like, meet people exactly where they're at. And that's a funny thing called empathy that a lot of people are missing, that a lot of kids don't have even these days. That they're missing that empathy. They're missing that being able to walk that mile in someone else's shoes, or put themselves in someone else's shoes, or to meet them where they're at, and to be willing to do that. Like, yes, you can say, I'm going to meet you where you're at, but there's a willingness that comes along with that. You can't just say, oh yeah, Kai, Rue, I'm going to meet you where you're at. But yeah, it's like, no, tell me exactly where you're at. Maybe not like physically, but it could be physically, but like, let me come down to where you are, kind of thing. It's like with a child, a great example of this with our children. So they're littler than us, at least mine are. Mine are smaller. I'm 6 foot, so my kids are quite little. So I have to literally go down to where they're at to talk to them sometimes. I literally have to get down on their level to talk to them, to have a conversation, to get through to them sometimes, to give them a hug, to comfort them, that kind of thing. So literally meeting them where they're at to help them grow and develop to that next stage or process whatever they're going through.
Now, see, not for nothing, it sounds like you and, I mean, I'm not judging. It sounds like I'm judging, but it kind of sounds like you and and Ruby got the same parenting style, because I go down, sit down, talk to them.
Oh no, there's some authority in there too. So
no, don't take. No, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that that y'all are. I'm starting to get the gist that y'all are on that path of friendly parenting. Me not so much. Me not so much. Right, no, I can't.
So I mean, for you, no. What's your parenting look like in comparison to ours? Because I think you just kind of outed me and Rue here a little bit, but
what I'm listening, I can't hear you. So, I'm just saying I can't hear you.
Exposed.
I can hear you. Okay, so example. I had well, okay, let's just talk about the summer. My youngest, you know what I mean? During the summer she goes to this program called Summer Rising. It's a program in New York City where they do half camp, half school. And the school that she's went to is a school that she's been in there previously for the summer. So it's like the people know her, everybody know her. So she in there, she doing whatever she want. Cause my chat, she go outside. She figured she could do whatever she wanted. Mommy ain't gonna never know. Mommy gonna be clueless, and the fact is, these people call me. They call me. So me and my parenting will show up in the middle of the day in the class and be like, "Hey," and snatch you up in front of everybody. "Hey, do I have to come here again? Do I have to talk to you again about this? No. I said, do I have to talk to you about this? I don't care about your privacy. Embarrassed. I don't care. What's up?" And then we get some tears and we get some calm down and act right for a couple of days or whatever, and then we do something else. And for me, I kind of I mean, I understand that they're kids, they're gonna test the boundaries, but I need my kids to understand that my mama crazy, like their mama crazy.
Mama don't play.
Mama don't play. You know what I mean? My oldest will sit down and tell you that I was easier with them than with her, because at 0.2 I was on that ass. But around these years, I kind of give you a warning. I take a toke or two and say, "Hey, if I get up, it's a wrap for you." Okay, you heard what I said. You understood. All right then. So if I sit down and then there's an action. Once I get up, I'm going straight to this, because hey, I talked to you. I gave you a warning, and you think I'm playing? Also, you think because I'm high, I'm not going to respond. No, I will even say that to my children. Like, you think because I smoke weed that you can play with me? No. No, I keep it real, and I keep it so people understand not to play with me. Like you know what I mean. But with y'all, like I said, in that situation, you'd be like, okay, see, why do you feel that you have to be rude in class? Okay, so let's talk about that. Me, I'm not talking about that. I'm telling you straight up and down. If this teacher call me again, I'm coming for the head. If the teacher call me one more time, I'm taking your head off. What?
Yeah,
And you know what?
there was a situation. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say something real quick to the viewers that are listening to Kai. Although she rules with I would say a swift hand, she's the most loving. She's such the most loving mother that I've encountered, for real. She, let's just say that her kids will never want for anything if she can help it. And I've seen her in action. I see how they are loved on, they're taken care of. Yeah, she don't play. Neither did my mom. But look, I feel like I turned out into a stellar person. So it's like there's also this generational thing of how, things are handled. And it's like, don't start nothing, there won't be nothing, But I just I want everyone to know that you can still be a very swift, authoritative figure and be loving as hell. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I didn't want to discredit you for that, Queen.
Exactly. Hey, no, I think that's important. That's important. Like, there is a balance there, right? Like, last year, my daughter was having, like, at the end of last school year, there was supposed to be a field trip to an ice cream shop that's pretty close to her elementary school. They were going to walk there and stuff, but she was having just the worst couple weeks of behaviors. Like, just the worst. And so I pulled her off that field trip. She didn't get to go. She got to stay at the school. She didn't go. And so there's still consequences to actions, right? There's always consequences. Sure. There's never just you get away with it, or you get to work through it or process it kind of thing. Like, there are still consequences and whatnot. My favorite thing to say to my girls is, if you're gonna play stupid games, you're gonna get stupid prizes. Like, if you're gonna F around, you're gonna find out. Like, if you're gonna mess with me, you're gonna find out. Yeah, and sometimes they find out really quick. Because if you're gonna mess with dad, if you're gonna mess with your stepmom, then you're gonna have problems. I don't want us to have problems. I'll comfort you
Yeah, of
after the
course not.
problem been said and done and happened, and now we're on the back end of that problem. But
We'll say, see,
Mhm.
that's where
let's
the
not
friendly
have that
parenting come
problem.
in because you're talking about comfort them. Man, listen, you better
Yeah.
your lesson. You better sit down and think about not playing with me. You better sit down because the only time you get nice mommy is when you're not playing with me. As soon as you start playing with me, I turn you into a game, and you don't want me to play no games. You don't want me to do it. You don't want it. You don't want it.
And most likely the parent's gonna win. They hold a lot more keys.
Yeah.
The hell.
Yeah, dad's gonna win that one 100% of the time. Like you ain't gonna win. You ain't gonna win that one. I'm sorry. They don't win.
Yeah.
Well, it's the point of consequences, teaching them consequences. Whatever your approach is, there has to be. Otherwise, we're just raising a bunch of what?
Exactly.
Entitled adults.
Entitled.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then at the thing is this: you want to teach because the main lesson I preached ever since I became a parent in 1997 that the what I am helping you to learn is the world that you're gonna experience once you become an adult. You know what I mean? You're gonna experience this type. You're gonna deal with these type of people. You're gonna have some people that you can't work with, but you find you have to. You're gonna find all kinds of obstacles. And one thing I want to show you is how to go around those obstacles. I know at the end of the day that you have your own mind, and even as a child, you know what I'm saying, you'll make a decision for yourself in certain aspects. But in those decisions, in making those decisions, you're going by the lessons you're taught and the voices in your head that come from parents, grandparents, whatever. You know what I
Word.
mean? Because when you get to be an adult, those same voices in your head are gonna remind you of all the fuck ups you did as a kid and go, you see,
Mm-hmm.
if you was listening to your mama when she told you could have avoided that. If you had been paying
That tends to
attention,
happen.
hey, your mind is the first critic. Your own brain that's supposed to be working with you is your first critic to let you know how you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And you'll remember that your mama told you this. You'll remember that your mama taught you that in those lessons as a grown up. That's the whole part of
Or your father.
yes, that's the whole part of
Mm-hmm.
recycling life because life get recycled. Life is a recyclable thing. Word.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
No, there ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing we haven't been before. Ain't nothing we haven't seen before. And
And done
so I think
before.
and done before, right? Like our kids think they're slick. Our kids think they're doing something new kind of thing. Like, yes, you guys have stupid slang now, but guess what? We had stupid slang back in our day too. And we had
Some
our
of
own
which is being
language.
recycled.
Yeah, ours is way better though. At least the one I grew
Yeah.
up
I
on.
agree.
We didn't have no skibbity Ohio and Sigma and a Riz and whatnot.
All kind of
I don't
food.
even know.
All kinds of things. But the kind of what you mentioned there, like if we're not doing these things, yes, we can be loving, but yes, we also need to have some authority, and we need to teach them consequences and
Gotcha.
empathy and how to work through the problems, how to go over these obstacles, how to deal with these things. Because if we don't,
Right.
then I heard this probably maybe a month or two ago, but it was a true thing. So the generation that's going into the workforce now, is it Gen X or something, right?
It would be Gen
Or
X. Oh no, Gen Z. Excuse me, Gen
Gen Z,
Z, right?
like the older
Mm-hmm.
parts of Gen Z that are like 18 to 22 that are going into the workforce
Mm-hmm.
now, one
Mm-hmm.
third of them are taking their parents to interviews with them. One third of them are having parents go to their job interviews with them. Like I've hired people,
Wait,
I've hired and fired people. Dead serious, dead serious. Yes, Kai. Yes, yes, yes. That's the reaction.
no, no,
Yes,
no, 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 no.
dead, dead serious. Yes, yes.
I believe it.
I'm telling you.
Mommy is coming along to the interview. Mom, first of all, that makes
Yes.
She driving.
no. I can understand driving you that because obviously, if you need a ride, you need a ride. But having
No,
mommy sit
they're
with you
in
while
the
you waiting for
interview.
your interview,
I believe it. I
that
Yes,
totally
they're
believe it. The way
sitting
shit's
in
going.
on the interview. There's a CNBC article. I'll put it here. Okay, so it's 13%. I thought it was higher. Um, So 70% sought their parents' assistance during the job search. Okay, so 1 in 4. Okay, no. So it is right. It's about 1 in 4. 1 in 4 Gen Zers have brought a parent to a job interview over the past year. And this was as of May 2024, the CNBC article, May 21st, 2024, CNBC. Dead serious. 1 in 4 Gen Zers have brought a parent to a job interview over the past year, and roughly 1/4 have had their parents submit job applications on their behalf, according to a new survey of nearly 1,500 Gen Zers by ResumeTemplates.com. Another 13% admit to having their parents complete their human resource screening calls. Overall, about 70% of respondents sought their parents' assistance during the job search. Nearly half said that they did so because they felt their parents' input on resume writing or job interviewing techniques was superior to their own. 1/3 said it was because they didn't know how to effectively communicate with hiring managers, and an equal percentage admitted to simply being unmotivated to get out into the job market. So 2/3 here are saying because they either don't have the skills or they're just unmotivated to get out there. So that's a problem. That's a big problem.
That sound like
It's
privilege. That sound like privilege,
It's
and you want to live in your mama house because your mama paying your bills. That's what it sound like.
yep.
That's
and
what
it sounds very confusing. It's very it could be confusing to the children that are affected because they're doing a very adult thing while being handheld the whole time. And I'm gonna be so honest. I would probably have to raise my hand and say that I've done something like that before.
you know,
And I
I'm not
think,
gonna lie, I was going to
yeah,
jump in and say that I came a little bit close to doing something like that because, like I said, I got a 26-year-old, and she actually, sent me her resume one time to be like, how does this look? And I looked at it and was like, yeah, that look cool. You know what I mean? But I ain't never
that's
filled out no
dope.
application
But
for
that's
none of that
different.
bullshit. Go
But
with that.
That's
that's
different. What
so
you're doing is important, but I've actually filled out an application for a child. And shame on me, but I feel like accountability is good. Those figures that he said, like, really, like, made me, like, clench up because I'm like, I need to stop doing shit for these kids. Excuse
mm-hmm.
me. Excuse my language.
No, you're fine. Guy dropped like 3 F-bombs already. You good.
Yeah, we can curse on here. Yeah.
Yeah, ain't no rules. There's this little thing that we can press that puts a little E by the title,
Oh.
so people can know. So you can press
Oh.
that little explicit button.
Okay.
So when you
Oh.
post, so
Okay.
ain't no worries there. And if they didn't get it from the title that we're talking about motherhood section marijuana, then they
I
should have
mean,
That's
already
kind of their
known.
fault at that point.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it's already their fault. And I try to give
Yeah.
a viewer discretion advised warning at the top.
all
So
that
it's
things.
if they're still here, but no, it's yes, we can do, and that's again, it's kind of this fine line that we're talking about here between the different parenting styles. Like, yes, you need some Akai, you need some Ruby, like you need a little bit of both. And you got to find like where you're gonna walk. Are you gonna walk more one side? How often are you gonna walk that one side? And are you gonna go this other way, kind of thing? So, just kind of going about it. How are you gonna walk these lines, and where are you gonna say no? Like, I will help and guide you through this, but I'm not gonna do it for you, kind of thing. Like,
Boom.
But that
And
also.
Jay, I was gonna also, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Rue.
Well, I was gonna say, Jay, that it's like also what has not been serving. So let's say I was like doing something, right? Just like now, and I realized maybe I don't want to do that anymore. Well, it doesn't mean that I'm a horrible parent or I'm trying to jack the system. It just means that, okay, you tried it and now you're going to pull back because it may not serve your kid. That's all I want to say, guys.
To me, what you read in that article definitely speaks about the parents, style of dealing with their kids, because clearly you brought up, you literally raised a poo putt. You know what I'm saying? You raised some little soft ass, I don't know, kind of person that came to you to ask you to help to that aspect, and and that parent then says, yes, I'm gonna help you because I love you and you're my kid. Wait a minute, no, you were supposed to give that child some level of independence when you was raising them. You were supposed to teach them that they can do a lot of things on their motherfucking own, so therefore they wouldn't have no reason to come to you and ask you, to help. Like, and like I said, and like I said, the only thing I've done with my child is literally I looked over her resume once. You know what I mean? But other than that, it was never fill out a job for her. God, man, my oldest right now just got a license to be an esthetician. She did that. She helped for me for
Boom.
Hell yeah.
where? No,
Super independent.
I taught
Yeah.
her how to be
And
independent. And
mhm.
the last two coming up, they getting the same independent lessons. Like, mama don't always want to do something for you. You can figure it out on your own at some point. What happened?
As
Mhm.
it should be.
Yeah, that's called resilience. That's called resilience. Like teaching our kids how to
Yeah.
be resilient, how to teach them to
Right.
problem solve. How I mean, my dad taught me that like so well. Like going through high school, he's like, "Well, I'm gonna get you like the classic." You know, my dad when we lived in Oakland and whatnot. My dad was raised in Oakland whole life, so it's like I'm gonna get you there, but you gotta get yourself back. And I'm like, what?
Mm.
Like, what you mean? And it's like he also gave me so much like independent opportunity. He's like, all right, well, you
Mm.
have a phone, you know how to contact me if you really need something. Like call
Right.
me, like text me if you need something, but like just let me know where you're at, what you're doing. Like check in with me when you get to school and after school,
Mm-hmm.
and let me know what you're doing. You know, on a Friday night, let me know where you're at. Like
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, it's like as long as your grades are good, anything you sign up for and you say you're gonna do, you go. Like if you say you're gonna play basketball, you go to every practice, you go to every game. Like you go, you show up, you give your best,
Mm.
kind of thing. You're in a play, you're in a musical, and that conflicts with something, you figure it out. You figure it out
Mm.
how you're gonna make both things work, kind of thing. So it's
Right.
always you're gonna go start working, then great, go start working, and you got your job, go, kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But make sure you get your license. The DMV's right here. This is how you go in. I'll go with you the first time, kind of thing. It's always like I'll show you the first time. You know, I'll show you the first time how to get somewhere, but after that, you're on your own, kind of thing. It's like I
Hey,
showed
I
you, I
like
went
that
with you, so
approach. I wonder if that's more well, I'm just saying because I think also the role as the father, right?
mm-hmm,
You're I would say traditionally it's more like that. It's like, okay, show you this, I got you, and then you got to do it. And so as a single mom right now, I'm finding myself taking on roles that I didn't think I would have to. It's not like a complaint, but then it also makes me feel like, okay, you still have to give the mothering aspect, the nurturing, but you have to pull back and get your own feelings away from it, Rue, and you have to sometimes be a hard ass. So it does happen. It doesn't happen as naturally as it needs to. But when I need to pull back, or when I realize something, I tend to pull back. But I really appreciate this conversation because it's teaching me a lot of what I could probably pay more attention to, because I do get spread thin. Let's say that I find myself getting hella spread thin, which is why I need my village so hard. Like I need the aunts, I need the uncles, I need the grandma to get involved. You feel me?
mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm. And see,
yeah,
one thing, Rue, you ain't mentioned because your kids are all under 12. Like, you know what I mean? Like your kids are young, so it's like the work that you got to put in is a lot more because you know they're small and shit. So you still got to guide them. You still got to be where they at, and or make sure they're in safe places and all of that. And that's how you get that whole
Mm,
spread thin kind of feeling. You know what I mean? For
mm.
me, I say one of the things I love to say is everything happened for a reason. And
Mm.
literally, my oldest is 26, my middle one is 15, and the youngest is 9. For the most part, I be on some like, listen, figure it out. Go over there. You know what I mean? And
mm-hmm,
because they already have that independence, within their system, they know how to figure it out and give mommy her smoke break time or her chill time or
Mm.
I'm doing something, and so stop bothering me time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess it still work, but my work is a little bit different based on the fact that my kids are spread out in ages, and they in the 15 can watch the 9. You know what I mean? And
Right.
mm-hmm,
and even when my oldest was younger, she would be watching the young, her younger sister. It was like everything happened
Mm.
so that I would have some sort of help in some sort of way. You know what I mean?
Mm.
mm-hmm.
It definitely helps out.
Definite.
Yeah, you got to have that
When are
support.
we going to be talking about the juicy stuff?
Lord,
we about to get into that right now. We already jumping into it, but I want to know. I want to know.
My bad.
Right?
My bad.
Kai warned me. Kai warned me that you may ask some off the wall shit, Rue.
I'm just saying. I'm saying.
All right, Rue. Go ahead. Ask some of that off the wall shit that's in your head right now.
Motherhood, sex, marijuana. You know what I mean? Sex.
So we got motherhood. So I guess are we just gonna progressively go through the name? Are we going to the middle of the name now?
Order?
That's where she want to be at. That's exactly where she want to be at.
All right, well, we're right in the middle of this podcast now, so let's jump into it.
Oh my gosh!
How did this name come about? Motherhood, sex, marijuana.
That would be a Ruby's question, because Ruby is the one who created who basically came up with the podcast, the concept, and everything. Now, in order for us to get to that, we got to talk about how me and Rue met. Now, okay. I used to live in Seattle. I lived in Seattle for about 7 years, and we have this mutual friend. And shout out to D'Angelo. You know what I mean?
Hey, D'Angelo.
You know what I'm saying? So he was having a party. I forgot, it was his birthday or his girl birthday?
I think it was his girl's birthday.
Yeah.
Reed's birthday.
It was Reed's birthday, right? So we was there, and when I tell you the level of weed that was in this party, it was, you know what I mean? Everybody had.
It's like Wiz Khalifa.
High grade. Everybody had high grades, and we rolling and passing. Now, even though I lived in Seattle, not one time did I develop the Seattle, oh, hey, everything's great type of attitude. I was always the straight up that was like, what? Yo, back I really, over there. You know what I mean? That was me all the time. So so Ruby was at the party. She walked up to me, you know, and I'm looking at her like, yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Because in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think you want me to talk to me, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, back up. You know what I mean? Back up. Because we all at the same party with the same people. Everybody in there cool. Now, at some point in the party, when I tell you, I was so high that I had to sit down and say, yo, let me get out the cipher. And it was like, I remember D'Angelo said to me, yo, you're not joining in, Kai? I said, yo, I need a break. I don't even know why. And I sat down, and in the midst of sitting down, this one sat next to me, started talking, and immediately I was just like, all right, you're talking to me, I can't get up. Okay. What's up?
Dang, so she trapped you into being friends.
Basically.
Yay!
Basically, it was just like, because immediately I was just like, all right, I'm not going to get up, and she clearly ain't getting up, and she want to talk. So
I do.
I was like, what's up? Yes, Ruby, what's good? Yes, Kai, what's good? And then we got to know each other. And then one day it was me, her, and a couple of other ladies. We were talking about this podcast that she want to do, Motherhood, Sex, Marijuana. I'm listening to the idea, but I ain't really, in the conversation yet. I'm just like listening. And then I went home after a little get together, and I was smoking. I said, "Yo, that's a good fucking idea. Like, where the fuck where on the internet streets you gonna find these three words together? Nowhere. Nobody knows about this. And the bottom line is that we actually live this life. Like, we are mothers to kids. We great mothers. Mm-hmm. Damn sure had sex in order to be mothers. And weed is our good friend, our good girlfriend.
And therapy.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That we've been using for a long time. So why not put the three subjects together and talk about it? And in the midst of putting the show together, the other ladies that were supposed to be on, dropped off, and me and Ruby were the ones that believed in the idea, kept it going, have it going up to today. You know what I'm saying? We did 7 seasons on YouTube. We got 481 subscribers, so people that are listening can hit that subscribe button. It's free. I'm just saying. And then season 8 gonna start probably end of October, beginning of November. You know what I mean? And every year, we've been doing the damn thing. This year was especially great because we got to do a 2-day sexual wellness event here in Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
Boom.
So we're gonna keep this idea going. The algorithms is gonna fight us, but at the end of the day, we don't give a fuck. We still gonna keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's
Direct them to our website.
and the bottom line is, as we built this platform, everybody that we spoke to has told us straight up and down, they're glad to have met us. They're glad that this entity exists, and they're glad to see us keep going. So based on
It's
that,
a
we're gonna keep
community.
it going.
Absolutely.
For sure. For sure. So motherhood, obviously, but what role does sex and marijuana play in your guys' motherhood journeys?
Well, I will talk about that a little bit. Right
She's been
now
waiting for this
is
one too. She's been
well, it's interesting because I'm living more of a modest lifestyle now. Let's just say
okay.
that. Whereas it was very open, very intense. And it was to the point, if I'm honest, that I had to ask myself if I had an addiction to it. And so now that we've received that revelation that it's not an addiction, we're not addicted to nothing like that. Not even cannabis. Let's just say that. Right now, let's just say there's a period of like not having any. There's a lot of transmutation. Are you guys familiar with what transmutation is?
Well, yes,
No.
we've discussed it on the podcast, but
Oh, sure. Well, I just don't assume that everybody knows. The
Go
way
ahead,
that
go ahead and
I
explain
see
it
it
for
is
the
that
listeners.
you literally take the sexual energy and you channel it elsewhere. Whether it's creativity, whether it's in music, arts, writing, or just creating something with the kids is what I have to do. And that's for several reasons. And I do want to just put a pause there. But I'm down. I think I'm accepting applications again because this dry spell is, it is what it is. There's a lot of people,
and
but
for me,
I
and for me, I'm happily married. Husband is over there getting
that
as
she
high as I
is.
am.
Get a girl.
I'm just saying, we cool in the fam over here. We cool in the fam.
Yeah, we chilling over here. Okay, so what role has cannabis played in your guys' parenting and just your like day-to-days?
Shit, it has kept me calm enough not to murder people. I'm just saying. Because even my oldest, when she was in high school, like, bruh, like, first of all, school period, I would always get calls and where I would need to actually show up at the school and be like, yo, what's good? What you doing? You know what I mean? And even when she graduated high school, like she didn't even get to walk down the aisle at graduation because she signed some teacher paperwork. She signed a teacher's name to paperwork that she was supposed to get the teacher's signature, and she forged the teacher's signature. And the
Oh
principal
shit.
called me upset, livid off his mind, because he already was talking to me all goddamn year about her behavior. Never mind, he was just like, yo, she can't come to graduation. And I was just like, yo, fam, listen, let her come to graduation. Stop playing with us, man. But he let her come, but she couldn't walk. She couldn't walk down the aisle. So I was just like, and it was so stupid because I was sitting there at the graduation. I was like, yo, why am I at this graduation? I ain't gonna see my child walk down the aisle. I might as well take my back. I might as well go home. Like, why should I even be here? You know what I mean? It was funny, but at the same time, it's like, weed allowed me to laugh at that. I'm still laughing at that to this day. But it's like,
No.
sometimes they do some shit and you just be looking at them like, yo, But you better be glad marijuana live here. No, you better be glad that she's an entity. She live here. She don't pay rent because, girl.
And then she calms the nervous system. You know, the thing about weed is that I've been smoking since I was 13 years old. Also, I think what really pissed me off with society is that when I was pregnant, they were all down my, the doctors were not only judging me and making me into a criminal, they contacted CPS on me because they found traces of blood or traces of THC in my child's blood. So it's like, well, duh. I've already, and then my point to this medical practitioner that don't know shit, by the way, I forgot her name, but she didn't even have children. She was just on a medical or a Western medical binge. She thought she knew better. And when I told her that I had done my own research for my own body and my own needs, she kind of scoffed. And so that really pissed me the fuck off. I had my baby. It was around like Labor Day. So we couldn't even go home for Labor Day celebration because these motherfuckers was fucking with me so hard. So it just kept this like really bad, like pit in my stomach where I was like, you know what, one day I will be able to help somebody in a position like this because I felt powerless. I felt voiceless. I felt like she just didn't, you know, I felt like a criminal. And I don't think that anybody should feel that way off of some weed. Okay. Especially when we got politicians and government officials doing who the fuck knows what to all of us. So it's like, yeah, the narrative needs to change. And I think one thing that's so important about motherhood, sex, marijuana is that we're advocates for not only talking about it on the podcast, but in our homes. When we encounter somebody, if I'm talking to a young person, they could be a friend of my child, they could say something about weed and I would be like, well, honey, have you discussed it with your parents? Do you know that it's an actual plant? And if I feel comfortable enough, I'll share some light. If not, I would just have my child handle that because they know very well that marijuana is a help. And also, I have, with the blended family situation going on, I had some teenagers in my house at once who were experiencing with weed before, but I gave one of my daughters some CBD pills and some CBD suppositories because she was having very heavy menstrual cycles. She was experiencing a lot of pain, and I'm not going to drug her up on pharmaceuticals. And that's a whole nother issue in itself. So I think what we are doing here is just an honest approach to who we are. It's wrapped up in 3 words, which I like it. I kind of like the meat and potatoes aspect of it. And then we talk about so much more. We talk about mental health. We talk to somebody who lives with suicide ideation. We talked to somebody who was trigger warning, who was we talked to a couple of sexual violence survivors. You know what I mean? Sexual abuse survivors, excuse me. And so I think that what this community has brought us, honestly, is just help to extend like just arms, you know, just loving arms. And I'm so grateful. I can say that MSM has helped to save my own life. Real shit. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Also,
and so would you guys say, like,
I just wanted to mention, we also talk to, because we're mothers, we've also talked to women going through pregnancy and dealing with, you know, the thought of, is it okay to smoke while pregnant, or how do I feel, or how do I deal with it? We've talked to women like that as well. So it's like, we bring an educational piece to the platform every time we have a podcast.
And it's the guests that come on really that educate us as well. And we would love to have you on there, Jay, for the next season.
Yeah, I'm down. You let me know when. But so would you guys say the biggest misconception about like parents using cannabis is that it's like criminal, it makes you a bad parent, it throws you off, or what would you say are like those misconceptions around parents using cannabis?
The lack of education, the lack of honest conversation, and people just keeping it real. And then the push for this pharmaceutical shit. So it's like, it's all of this. The federal government or I would say the federal government stance on it just so that they can regulate and get as much money out of it. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different ways that just point us to how about we just ask more questions on its natural holistic properties? Like, why can't we keep that as the focus? You know what I mean? Because it gets too political. And that's another reason why I love talking about it. Because why is it that I could freely get weed here in Oregon, and when I go to Houston, Texas to visit my peoples out there, I feel like, I have to back alley it, you know what I'm saying? Or, you better have a plug. So it's like these imbalances within our system and our daily lives really bring about the passion of these conversations. You feel me, Jay?
No, I got you. And I think it should be one of those things that's not at the federal level, right? It shouldn't be a schedule whatever. Like, it's because it's
No,
not. It's not a schedule anything.
no.
Like, it's a plant, it's cannabis, it's CBD, it has so many benefits. I mean, the paper industry shut down the hemp industry because the hemp industry got destroyed because of the paper industry, because of all the money that was there. But hemp is a more
Right.
sustainable product,
In
and
clothing,
so
for food, for lotion, for shampoo, everything. And that's another thing. It's this greed, this ongoing greed of people that are trying to pull strings and messing with our lives, the people on the ground level. And that's who we talk to, the ground level.
Yeah, and that's exactly who needs to be talked to about it. And it should be a state to state kind of thing, right? It should be one of those things that's just fully given to the states to figure out things like that. Each state, of course, it's one of those things. If you give it to the states, you're gonna have to deal with what the states, right? Go and vote, go and do your thing.
Or it can be decriminalized altogether, and it can be used as, but then again, you're going to make a lot of people mad, hence the paper industry and all these other motherfuckers that just want our pockets. And I can't stop talking about it because it's just not right. And I don't have any shame in talking about how I use it recreationally and medicinally. Even if I didn't have anxiety and depression, I'd still be smoking weed because it feels good. And if I got the money, then why not? You feel me?
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah.
And so it's important. And politics are politics. Pharmaceuticals are the pharmaceutical industry, big pharma, as most people know it, it's bad. And I talk about this a lot.
They are the devil.
Yeah. And you look at the current election that we're in. So I have another addition to the Young Dad podcast feed that's coming out in October, same month that this is coming out, where I've introduced patriarchy principles. It's a platform where I specifically talk about politics and the Bible and faith and whatnot. And one conversation I'm really excited to have on that platform, we don't have to have it here because we don't want to mix in that if we don't have to, but I'm really excited if one party gets elected versus the other, because one side has one candidate. She has pushed people back into jail for cannabis and whatnot, and not decriminalized it, and persecuted drugs and made people stay in prison who didn't need to stay in prison. Neither side is great. Each side is bought. Neither side is great at all. But this is where I'm really curious to see what RFK Jr. can do. Yes, he has his flaws, but his concept of make America healthy again and kind of fighting back against those pharmaceuticals, like when he was running for president, one of his big things was first day in office, like if I'm elected for RFK Jr. is if I'm elected, I am ending all those, like putting a stop to all the like pharmaceutical like commercials and ads on TV, on the radio and stuff. Like those are done like day one because those are dangerous. So he understands the dangers because he's been in it. He was literally born into politics, right? So no one probably knows it better than RFK Jr. He saw his uncle and his dad both get shot, and so he wants to make America healthy again. He wants to fight back against the pharmaceutical industry. And so, and RFK Jr. is out there blazing it up before he goes anywhere.
Most of them are, if not snorting it up.
Yeah, well, that's a White House thing. That's for the parties in the White House, the sons of those who were in the White House, and then they leave it behind in the Oval Office and in the presidential wing and whatnot. That's for the son of our current president at the time of this recording. So that's a whole thing in itself. But we don't have to jump into all that. But for you guys, what role does cannabis play in supporting parents, like especially with dealing with stress and the challenges of raising kids? what role has it
Yeah,
played for you in
definitely.
dealing
I
with
could
like the
say,
mental and emotional, your
it's
mental and emotional
definitely
health
an
individually,
assistant
and what role
when
can it play
it,
in
it
helping like
comes
the
to
average
dealing with
parent in dealing with
stress
stress and
on
challenges
all
related to it?
subjects, you know what I mean? Because
Great
as an
question.
adult, when you're a kid, you don't realize that adults got to be responsible for more than just your lives. They got to be responsible for where they stay at, bills, you know what I mean? And somehow people got to figure it out. You know what I mean? While in the meantime, not looking like something is wrong, not looking like something
Mhm.
in front of your kids. You're trying to, you know what I mean, keep up the good
Mm,
face while dealing with these extra struggles and
hmm
whatnot. So, and one thing I can say for me definitely has given me time to calm down, time to build myself, time to talk to myself and let me know that I'm doing the best that I can to make me, you know what I mean? So, because like that, like I said, your own brain will play tricks on you, in your head. So, it, in the midst of me, ingesting marijuana, it definitely gives me a voice of
mm,
reasoning and a voice of, yo, you're doing what you can. Like, chill out. Like, let's think about positive things, and let's figure out different ways to look at it. You know what I mean? It definitely gives me that sense of comfort and inside voice of positivity. While I'm dealing with it. And I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, weed is not for everybody, but it definitely is not what people making it look out to be. You know what I mean? A lot of people are making make it look like, because you smoke weed, you lazy, you don't want to, you stupid, and all you think about is stupid shit. Therefore,
mm.
therefore nothing but stupid shit come out of you. No, no. So first and foremost, you know what I mean? You have to think of it as your assistant, because that's what it is. It's assisting you to feel better about what you're doing. And I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Liquor don't do that. All these other drugs don't do that. Only weed does that. You know what I mean? So, and there's no way you should be equating how I deal with it and why it's important to me to somebody that's taking that's doing heroin or pills or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Weed ain't never killed anybody. Weed ain't never killed nobody. You ain't never sat there. It's true. I just talked about how me and Rue met, with how much smoke we was in. We made it out of that room just fine. That room was 4 years ago. The fuck? I damn sure was
I was hungry, but we was good. And you know what? You know what I think of when I think of weed, you guys? I think of biological benefits. I think of
Mm,
psychological and spiritual. And so what I will say as it pertains to other parents and parenting and how it may help, like my girl said, it's not for everybody. I think it's for everybody, but it's not for everybody. Because there's other ways to do it than smoke it. If you know that, I can't even condone smoking, to be honest. So you can ingest it in different ways. Now, in our bodies, for those that know zero about weed and the bio and this part of it, it's in our bodies. We literally have something called cannabinoid receptors. So, and these receptors cling on to things that are found in compounds that are in weed, like THC, like CBD, these different compounds that help regulate our nervous system, help to give you an I would say an overall feeling of wellness, to help you with sleep, help you when you can't eat. Lots of
mm,
women, when they get pregnant, you don't even recognize your body. Like,
yep.
it could even be early on. You wonder why you throw up. You wonder why everything makes you sick, just smelling food. Weed helped me with food aversions because I'm a chubby girl. I never have a problem eating unless I am pregnant. Unless I'm pregnant, my body totally rejects some shit. And so being able to help myself that way, and I'm actually a fan of psychedelics. I think everything is needs to be you need to be responsible with it. And with regards to specifically like shrooms and microdosing, I'm a fan of that. Why? Because I don't believe the hype. I don't think that I'm going to turn into a monster. And I've already utilized these to help me with my own mental health journey. So I think that when it comes to parenting, that's how it may help, for some specific reasons. I think just the overall conversation and you getting the information as a parent so that because maybe you don't smoke. Maybe you don't smoke, but you're going to discover that your 17-year-old is experimenting with it. Well, do you want to be informed? Wouldn't you want to be informed? Wouldn't you want to know what was going on? And wouldn't it give you the
Just
satisfaction
saying.
in knowing that this plant can actually help? You know what I mean? So just think about those, whoever's watching this, when it comes to these topics. And then
100%.
if you want to talk about it, come talk about it on Motherhood, Sex, Marijuana, baby.
No, and I'm a fan of all this. I personally don't use cannabis in any way. Personally, I don't really use any substances. I really like nootropics. I like a good cold plunge. I like working out. I like trying to sleep. I like trying to do more of the non-substance stuff for myself. But that's what works for me.
Nice.
That's me personally,
Mhm.
right? That's not for everyone. Not majority of people don't want to go sit in a 38-degree, 42-degree tub of water for 5 minutes, at a time, or then go sit in a 100 and
Sauna.
something degree sauna for another 25 minutes after that.
That
right?
is so good for us. I want to do that.
It's great for you, but like most people don't want to do that kind of thing, right? So the things that I want to do are the things that I want to do that I like for me, kind of thing, because I find them relaxing. Like I get in that water, that cold water. Yes, it's an initial shock for the first 30 seconds or so, and then after that, like I'm chilling. It's cold, it feels good, I'm relaxing, I get into it. I feel it like throwing my brain for loops, right? Like I'll close my eyes and I'll just start seeing colors and flashes and everything. Like my brain just start going crazy. And so it's super fun. And then same for the sauna, like being in there for 20, 30 minutes at a time. Like that's some shit right there. That's fun. But that's for me.
That's
That's what I
so
like.
healing. And then I think I made a mistake in saying cannabinoid in our bodies. It says
Nice.
endocannabinoid system. So just look that up. Sorry, I just need to
no, I'll link over on the website. There will be a show notes for this show, and I'll link an article I found on the cannabinoid receptors. Very interesting stuff. Something I didn't know about, but I'm a fan of the psychedelics. One thing that really kind of grinded my gears within the last couple months was how the FDA denied a kind of a groundbreaking study for MDMA and using it with veterans to treat PTSD. There's there's countless studies out there with psychedelics, PTSD for veterans. There's countless studies out there for those who have intense addictions like cocaine, heroin, meth, fentanyl. These psychedelics can really help clean things up and really help these people get back to a normal life.
Exactly.
But yet it's better for the government to be able to shove money into these quote unquote homeless issues and cleaning up the streets when all that money is just going into lining these politicians' pockets. They're not really taking care of the problem. They're not doing anything about it. Because if they were, they thank you. That's the word I was looking for. It's perpetuating the problem. So that's kind of my sense on it. My dad has been telling me for years now too. Why don't you try microdosing with some mushrooms or stuff? And I'm like, I want to do it and think about it, but it's just like not something that's like necessarily like for me. Like the craziest thing I do is I had these ciders from Costco I got. They're like these tall cans, and I had like half of one of those last night because it was like a really, really long 4-day work week. I don't know about y'all, but this last week after Labor Day, it was crazy. It was such a long week for me at work. So I had like a little half a cup of that cider, and that was good. I was chilling. So that was me. So that's kind of as crazy as I get here. I know. Whew, I'm crazy.
I love it. You save money. Keep saving money, Jay. You good?
I mean, the name of the game is that everybody has a vice.
I could be saving
Everybody
gets spent
has
on my
a vice.
daughters
From
and
the
my
minute
wife.
you were born,
So
and you
it
start.
doesn't. I wish it got
All of us
saved.
develop
I
a
really
vice.
do,
You know
but
what I mean? And whatever your vice is, as long as it's not killing people, I don't understand. Like, don't worry about me. I'm doing me. Thank you. Definitely. Absolutely.
shout out to my wife. My vice is definitely her, and
Shout out, wifey.
I'll leave it at that. She knows what I mean by that. So let's get this thing wrapped up here. I have 5 questions that I want to ask you guys. There's some fun, lighthearted questions just to kind of ease us out of the conversation here. We'll have some fun to end us here. But before we close out, I want to just shout out the other partners and affiliates, not affiliates, I hate that word, but partners, sponsors of the podcast who support me. I love them, support them. Shout out to Forefathers Apparel. Nice. Love Forefathers Apparel. The best polos in the game, best dad polos, dadisms on every polo. You go over to forefathersapparel.com, use the code YoungDad, and you'll save 20%. Shout out to Dad Bod Apparel as well. You see me wear countless time on the podcast to support your local girl dad hat and the Dad Vibes hat. So shout out to them as well. And then lastly, the June app, JOONAPP, the June app. You'll find that link in the description of the episode as well. If your children struggle with behavior, habits, routines, then you need to get a look at June. It'll change the game for you. It mixes a game with habits, behaviors, routines. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's all the business. And again, make sure you go and support on Patreon for as little as just $1 a month plus tax.
Y'all can do that.
Easy way to support here. So some fun questions here to ease us out of this conversation. If you could smoke with any famous parent or person, past or present, who would it be?
For me, Bob Marley.
Marley definitely would have answered, but I don't.
For so many different reasons.
I had to pick
that Marley movie. That was good. That was a good movie.
Because the first thing I would want to ask her be like, "Girl, let's talk about these incense. How did they?" No, I didn't say I wanted to smell them. No, I never got to smell them. They got sold out the same day you sell them. But I just want to. How did that work out? Like, how did that work out? I would want that detail. Definitely, Erykah Badu.
I need some.
Nah, I'm good. I ain't going to nobody's sauna.
I think I'm gonna
and then do the sauna thing with her after.
Yes, I'm gonna. I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna say Snoop. I think Snoop. That would be just a fun. I would light up for Snoop. There's a few people that I would light one up for, but I would light up for Snoop just to have a conversation. And if he got Martha Stewart there, because him and Martha they homie. You know Snoop is getting that lady higher than ever.
Hey, she might have better weed than him. Who knows?
She probably does.
She pretty awesome.
For
Martha, holla at us, baby. Shit.
So, but no, Snoop would be mine. I think that would just be like a fun conversation. That would be so fun.
That would be fun.
So what is your guys' go-to snack when you're chilling? Are you guys more of a sweet or more salty? Munchies?
I'm a salty motherfucker. I love me some. You know those kettle chips, those jalapeno kettle chips.
I got a pack of them in the pantry right now because
I need those on sale this week for like $6. But I will go for the
that's my shit. Those jalapeno kettle chips with some guacamole.
My shit is ice cream, because New York is cool like that. New York will have Dunkin' Donuts / Baskin Robbins, so you in there getting a donut plus a scoop of ice cream. Yeah, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. One stop shopping.
And some coffee.
Oh no, we can't eat no Doritos.
Everything. One stop shopping.
Let's go. For me, like my go-to like snack is I love the purple bag of Doritos. The purple bag of Doritos. The sweet
like,
and the sweet chili one. The sweet chili one's a purple bag of Doritos.
I know what you're talking about.
That bag.
Kai's very snobby with her food, so she ain't just eating none.
That's
ever since my husband told me that Doritos could start a barbecue, I was like, nah.
Some of those Doritos with some shredded cheese on top, pop them in the microwave for like 45 seconds.
Start a barbecue fire with Doritos? Nah, I'm good.
I see it.
Keep that. I will never want those.
Yeah, it's fine. No. Start a barbecue fire with any food, except if it's any dry food. You can start a barbecue fire with. Come on now.
Because every time I even try, I'm gonna be thinking about you telling me about
fluid on it. I doubt it was just straight dry.
I ain't gonna eat those. No. Exactly.
I'm out. I'm out. Uh,
A rap song or
I feel like you about
it
to
would
explode or
definitely be
something.
a rap
Um,
song. It would definitely be a rap
if
song. I
Motherhood,
would
Sex,
definitely
Marijuana was a
want,
song, what would it be?
little Kim on the beat. I was saying
Oh,
I would
lick
want
it
little Kim
now.
on the
Lick
beat.
it good. No, she okay.
Like, oh, my neck, my back, my neck, my back. You
Dude,
know what? You
shit.
know what? Too,
Kia
yeah,
song.
and
What is her
honestly,
song again?
but
Lick it,
she,
man.
I
Lick
would want to
it
meet her
good.
just to
Lick
be
that
like,
mother just
no,
like you
because
should.
she
That's
be
that.
on
My
every time
neck,
she
my
talk,
back.
she be
That part.
ripping
That's the
somebody a new
yeah.
asshole,
For
and I
me,
just be like,
yeah, that would be
damn,
it.
who got you mad now?
Yeah, like nah, don't be so mad, mommy. Jeez.
But all right, so last one here, or second to last one
Okay.
here. So let's say you're hosting the Pot Mom of the Year awards.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's one category you would include, and who would win it?
Basically, period. 'Cause it's like
Mm.
basically,
I
because
would say
the
dynamic
cat,
duo,
because
the
first of all,
dankiest
she gotta,
dynamic
she
duo,
not
and it
only
would be
gotta
Ty Stone and
have
Ruby doll
the
from
best
Motherhood,
weed, but
Sex,
she
Marijuana.
gotta have
Period.
the children
The
under control,
dankiest duo.
and
Boom.
somebody got,
Yes,
and
duo.
like Ruby likes to say,
Win.
and like one of the things that Ruby likes to say, the pussy don't eat itself. I'm just saying, if we got all that going, if we got all that going.
The house got to be clean.
Oh man,
And then, come on,
word.
there hasn't been one since Cheech and Chong, so it's us. You feel me? I'm gonna just label it right now.
Let's
It's
go.
us. Mm.
All right,
Shout
let's
out to
go.
Young Dad Podcast, Jay. You the shit, man.
I I try. Well,
Man,
ladies, this
listen,
has been
motherhood,
super
sex,
fun.
marijuana. You got now
We're gonna
when
take it
you
right
go
there.
to
Go ahead and tell
YouTube,
the
you got
people
to
where they
type
can.
the
I
whole
think
word
you
because
may
they
have
hate
mentioned the
it.
name of the
You know what
podcast
I'm
a
saying?
couple
They're not
times,
going
but just go ahead and tell the
the
people where they can
faces
find
are
you, where
not
they
going
can
to
follow
show
you,
up
while they can keep up with
until
you
you
guys.
type the whole word motherhood, sex, marijuana. Then when you see these two ladies in a cartoon smoking, you know to hit
Mm-hmm.
subscribe. You know what I mean? If you want to, you could go to motherhoodsexmarijuana.com. And way you could just
Yeah.
click on any of our videos. You could buy some MSM
Mm.
podcast rolling papers.
Mm.
You could definitely get some merch. You could
.com.
definitely donate to the podcast. If you want to donate to us, you could send us a little note like,
Mm-hmm.
great girls, you're doing a good job. You could do
A
that. Or if
merch.
you want to be on the show, this is a good time to hit us up, because we are recording for season 8
Mm-hmm.
as we speak. Tomorrow we're gonna record our first episode for season
Mm.
8, and and we always got hot shit in the season, so you might as well come and check us out.
Hit
Again,
us up.
subscribing is free.
Mm. Oh,
Let's go.
real talk.
Absolutely.
Real talk. But and you know what? If you guys are
And
interested in
also
a live
on our
show, just hit
website, you
us up.
can
Just go to
follow
the
us on all
website.
social
You can
media,
message
which
us
is
on there,
YouTube,
and we
Facebook,
will come to
Instagram, and
your
Twitter
city if it makes
/.
sense financially.
Man, y'all crazy for that one.
Mm. Mm.
I
Mm.
love that.
Mm.
Damn sure
I
did.
love that. Well, ladies, again, like you just said to the listeners, make sure you guys go and support these two. They are fantastic. It was such a fun conversation. I think we hit all. I think we hit all the things. We hit motherhood, we hit sex, and we hit marijuana. So we did it. We got through. We got through it. We did it. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the conversation. To our listeners, make
Appreciate
sure y'all
you.
go and follow them. And then lastly, of course, make sure to go and do all the same things that they just said for Motherhood, Sex, Marijuana podcast, and do them for the Young Dad podcast.
Boom.
Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, Pinterest as well. We're over there.
Nice.
Where else? That's it. Yeah, those ones. Of course, go and become a patron for just $1 to $2. That's a great way to support the podcast, help new things come about, come to life, come to fruition. And make sure you subscribe over on YouTube, do all the things that you can to support the podcast. Leave 5 stars, leave a review, leave a comment, interact, engage. The more engagement, the better. So we'll leave that right there. Ladies, again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you to our listeners for listening to us today. We hope you learned something. We hope you had a good laugh. We hope you just were able to connect with us. Appreciate y'all.
Stay sexy, y'all.